Buddha means we are celebrating that auspicious thrice blessed day in which he was born the same day and he attained his awareness about his own Buddha nature, and then also he left his body on this particular day of Purnima, which is not today, of course, but close by. And he, whole spiritual life is a very simple thing. It is dealing with the mind. Because mind makes all this horrible conception and pure mind gives all this clarity. Impure mind, filled with ignorance, creates this universe, and pure mind teaches us that ultimate truth. We find the very basic principles of Buddha is this. He didn't go to believe whether you believe in God or not. That is a secondary question. Do you believe in God? That question is not necessary. He only put it in such a logical way that this truth can be understood by searching into the objects of the universe, the situation in which we live through and we go through. If we look at that, then you find the solution there itself. Not believing in some extraterrestrial God sitting somewhere, or not doing in the name of spirituality, killing animals and drenching the world with the blood and making yourself going to heaven. So he gave a very logical conclusion of life, and he talked about the very fundamental truth. That's called the four principles of truth. This is called Arya Satya. Arya, eternal. Satya is the truth. So you need not to have to go for any philosophy, not to go to any person to learn this under any teacher, but your own life will clarify that yes, that is the problem and there is a solution. So Buddha's fourth principle is very important to understand, that life has the truth. It is a one truth, that life has suffering. Is there anybody who can deny this? I don't think any human being can do that. Even the animals will not feel that way. You need no philosophy to say that God is there. Suffering is there. Even God is there or not, secondary point. But suffering is there. So fundamental principle, what Buddha taught us, that life is subject to all kinds of suffering. All kinds of suffering. The most basic are what? Birth, death, sickness, aging. These are the problems of life. No one can deny that. So that's why it is called a basic spiritual truth. Second point, why this suffering? Naturally, very logical conclusion comes. Next question, that is also eternal truth, fundamental truth. What is that? Then there is some cause must be there for suffering. So that is the second eternal truth or noble truth, as said by Buddha. Suffering is caused. Why? By ignorance. We always cry and weep because of our ignorance. But there is all, according to Vedanta, normally Vedanta comes out of our mouth, though we are talking about Buddhism. But it is all Brahman. We don't see that because of ignorance. And we cry and weep, but we are dealing with Brahman only. Brahman acting with Brahman. Brahma Arpanam Brahma Hobi. So the truth is, there is a suffering. Why this suffering? Very foundational response is that it is because of ignorance. And ignorance which results in the desire. What happens if ignorance? Ignorance says, oh, I am lacking. I want to get something to desire. Desire then brings into craving, more intense, and craving produces I want this, but I could not do it this life. At least I'll do it again. So rebirth comes there. So rebirth, and that accompanied by the passionate clinging to life, this holding on to life. That's why everyone is frightened to die, because clinging on to life. So it is a craving. Why we cling on? Because I want to enjoy through this physical body and the senses. Therefore, the craving of pleasure, it is a craving of fame, name and fame, or materialistic possession of life. That causes great dissatisfaction in our life. That is the cause of suffering. Buddha said there is a cause, and that cause is this. It is because of ignorance, and ignorance takes us step by step into the craving, desire, and desire leads us to fulfill that desire, to have another body, again getting rebirth, and then rebirth takes us to the why rebirth? Because I'll be happier, I'll be famous, I'll be very intelligent, I'll be like a king, or whatever desire. So all desires are prompting us to go that direction, and ultimately it is bringing great dissatisfaction in our life. This is the second truth. So first truth is truth, there is a suffering. Second truth is there is a cause of suffering. Now, if there is a cause of suffering, can I do anything? Very logical. Third point comes, there is a cessation of suffering. There is a possibility suffering can be stopped. How can it be stopped? Yes, there is a process to do that. Cessation of suffering comes from what? You cut up the root, ignorance. Ignorance was the cause of your suffering. So chop out that ignorance. But how to chop out that ignorance is not like a sword and you just go and just strike the root of the tree. It is not so easy. So cessation of suffering comes from total elimination of ignorance. And what is that? To practice non-attachment from desires. Not to desire much, because desire is bringing suffering. Why to desire small things and suffer? Therefore, there is cessation of suffering is possible, and by non-attachment from desires and cravings. That was the cause of our birth. And why shall I do this? To give up the desire or the cravings which can satisfy me at this point now. Why shall I not do that? Because to reach a state of nirvana, if we can detach, then this small craving, the small satisfaction which may come up, fulfillment of the smaller cravings, will be totally gone. And then the state of nirvana, the total freedom, that is the state wherein all sufferings will be extinguished. It is positively, Vedanta says positively. But here, Buddhism will say negatively. They will not say Satchidananda will attain Brahma Jnana. No. They'll say cessation of all suffering. That is the state. And Buddha is a state, and Buddha attained to that state. So this is the third point, that there is cessation of suffering. And if there is cessation of suffering, then can I go there? Can I reach there? Then fourth truth is the path leading to cessation of suffering. That is the fourth very important point. So this is a scheme of total life's philosophy, that we are all undergoing suffering. First, I'm going through suffering because there is some cause. Don't blame the cause to others, as we always do. Vedanta and Buddhism take the responsibility on their own shoulder. Because you did that, that's why I'm suffering. You are the worst guy and I am the good guy, and you are creating my trouble all the time. But Vedanta does not say that, and Buddhism. No, it is your doing. You are getting because of your own doing, your craving, your desire that has brought you to this point. So this is The second point, there should be a cause of suffering, and if there is a cause of suffering, there is a cessation of suffering. And the cessation of suffering, how to reach that cessation of suffering? There is a path to lead. And that path here is called the Buddha's path. Buddha's path, and that we all know. What are the path? Buddha says Eightfold Path of liberation. And why I'm going to this, to come to the point of mind, because the whole philosophy of life is standing on mind. And mind's misconception and mind's right understanding. So this is to be clearly taken that there is a path, and that path is to be followed. Sitting in one place and talking about a nice thing does not give us satisfaction. If we sit here and talk about Dallas, I cannot see Dallas. So you'll have to take some action to go there, to physically go and then see. To some action is necessary. So that's called, we have to make a journey in the path. And that path is the Eightfold Path. Very fundamental thing. You don't need God here. That's why Buddhism did not need to discuss about God. Because people are philosophizing. God is Saguna, God is Nirguna, God is in the different deities. Why so many deities? Why stone is considered this? Is nothing, no such question necessary. Come to the reality of life. These are the problem, and there is a cessation path, and you be a moral person. You be a peaceful person. Make your mind peaceful. How to do that? These are the Eightfold Path. We all know Eightfold Path. What? First of all, it's called the right understanding. Understand this life rightly. We never think about understanding life in right sense. We, like a child, emotional people, run after the things in the world, and then running, get frustrated. And when we get frustrated, we accuse and blame everyone, but not finding that why I am running. What is the right understanding? Right understanding, that have the knowledge. You know that these are the four truths of life. Centering around all our activities are going on. So why are you understanding this? These are the realities, and you are forgetting that realities, forgetting that fundamental point of suffering. There is the cause of suffering, and there is a cessation of suffering, and there is a path of suffering. Forgetting that ideal, like a fool, like an ignorant person, running, ceaselessly. That is the problem. So first, it is right understanding. Understand life in its perspective. We are always camouflaged. We are seeing the glorious side of life. We don't want to see the ugly side of life. No, though both things, only darkness, light is there, darkness is there. We only want light and not the darkness. You cannot get the coin on one side and not the other side of the coin. Only I will get the peace, joy, and I will not get the suffering side. That's why, first of all, to understand, they call it right understanding, that this life has the misery and there is a way of going out of it. So we will be, every moment of our life, we should have to think. That's the mindfulness. Question of mindfulness is coming here. To understand that this is the condition of life through which we are passing. And we have a path to get out. So if we remember every day, that's why it is said that when you in the life think that the death is holding on your tucked hair. We don't know. Now COVID situation is giving a such clarity. I was talking yesterday with somebody. This morning I had gone. Oh, COVID affected. Hundreds and thousands of people are dying. Life is so fragile. And you are busy with some nonsense things and spending your time very joyously, thinking I am a wonderful, what a great guy I am. So this is a foolishness. That's why you follow the path, understand the truth. Mind, keep your mind aware of it. That's mindfulness coming. Second point, right thinking, right thought. Develop the noble qualities of life and don't cause harm to others. Right thinking. What is right thinking? What is the purpose of life? I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to hurt anyone. Feel that way. Act like that way. Therefore, don't cause harm, and noble qualities of life to be cultivated. It's awareness is necessary in every moment. Every movement of my life, I need to be aware of it. Most of us are not aware. We run emotionally. That's why Buddhism, of course, Vedanta gives the same idea. Buddhism is only offshoot of Swami Vivekananda. Buddha is a rebellion child of Hinduism. Actually, all these philosophies are embedded there, and then it was messed up with the Karmakanda people who made all this jagna, and at the end of the jagna, then they are cutting that animal slaughtering and this and that. That become the ritual, become the religion, and forgot for what purpose they are doing. And going to Sarga. Sarga, you are going to heaven. Heaven is an unimportant area. There is also same craving. There is also same jealousy. Have you heard the stories of the gods? How they are jealous of each other? As we are here, they are also same. Little fine, refined. In a refined world, as we move, our mind becomes a little finer. We do all the things, nonsense things in a refined way. The animals do it really rudely. Here's the hunger and go and come. We do very stealthily. We do our own choices things in our own way. So this is the point. Right thought, develop some noble qualities, and don't cause harm to others, because life is so momentary and it should be utilized in perfect order. Right speech. This is very heavy responsibility on us to write speech. Inadvertent, angry speech, no? Angry talk. It can break your relationship forever. And the sweet word, you can remember whole life sometimes. That you with fondly you remember. So that's why and right means which is true. Talk about what is truth. Right speech, abstain from lying, abstain from idle talk, gossip market, slander, harsh words. We use, but we're mindful, then we will not do it. And that makes our character. That helps us to raise our consciousness into that state of Buddha consciousness. What we call in Vedanta, different terminology. So the point is that right type of speech, how much alertness is necessary, how much mindfulness is necessary, that when you are speaking something, how you speak. What is your intention? Hey, the Holy Mother, look at Holy Mother's speech. We can learn from her. Holy Mother, she never used any word to hurt anyone. And how she used to say, the mother said that there is a blind person. In Bengali, say kana. Kana is a colloquial language and it is not very respectful. But mother said, no, don't say that. Tell that, how you lost your one eyes, no? In a sweet way. And you can say the same idea, express the same idea in a very sweet, loving, caring way, and also in a harsh and rude and unkind way. So every speech, the Buddha says, that is the third noble path to enlightenment. He's not talking about samadhi. We always take it simple. Spiritual life is samadhi. Because we read gospel, we see that Thakur is going to, Ramakrishna is going to samadhi. So samadhi is very easy like that. Someone also tries to get it through some drug also, samadhi. So all samadhi is by the market is very easy. But this is not samadhi easy market. It is to practice every moment. What are you speaking? What you're thinking? What is your thought? Are you thinking about the noble ideas? Are you thinking about not to cause harm to anyone? Are you thinking, understanding that this world is unreal. Our life is very momentary and unreal. So understanding will bring light and more light and more light. So the third point, the right speech, it is whole life struggle to learn. No, it is not instant samadhi. Uh, some 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 places you can get by $500, $1,000 samadhi easily. Yeah, but that is not the way Buddha said. That is not the way the ancient sages said. It needs sadhana. It needs spiritual practice and very much awareness of our own conduct, own thought, on our what we do. Then right action in life, right action. The killing, abstain from killing, abstain from stealing, abstain from sexual misconduct. They are very much rigorous on these points. You want to be reaching a state of Buddha awareness, then you have to be watchful about all these, that your action should be, what are you doing? What is the life you are leading? The thought which is promoting. Our action is what? Thought promoted. What is the thought? When it expresses itself in action. So that means it is also indicating the intention of your thinking. What you think. Why are you doing this? Because your mind is telling to guide. So it is, suggestion is that abstain from killing, because that was Buddha's major emphasis on that time, because when he came, that was a big thing to do, and this ahimsa. And ahimsa also, we go to the Patanjali, ahimsa, the very first point, no? Of the moral conducts, ahimsa, sattva. So, see, asteya. All our points are already we are discussing. We think that it is something unusually new. No, it is the ancient thought. And every spiritual teachers teach these ideas. But here it is very focused towards a person's individual life, improvement of one's life. So to be mindful about action, what we do, right type of action, abstaining from stealing. Stealing is also asteya in yama, 10 commandments. There also it is mentioned the same way. Stealing means, we think that stealing means I grab your money, purse. No, that is stealing, gross stealing. But there are many stealing which we steal every day. We steal, say, what I am not supposed to see, I see. What I am not supposed to hear, I hear. So it is those weak points we have to be mindful about us, because we are trying to improve our character. Spirituality is a perfect character. And when these things happen, mind becomes watchful about all these things. If a thief is being watched by somebody, say police or any gentleman, then thief becomes aware. He gives up his stealing for some time. So the mind will give up its stealing nature, or it going in different direction and camouflaging our mind that I am spiritual, I am going to temple, I am doing my japa. Okay, that is good. But are these understanding in this, following this path, Eightfold Path, or 10 commandments of yama niyama? So that is to be very important point. That mindfulness will bring the ultimate mindfulness. That's what Sri Ramakrishna said. Holding on to truth. Holding on to truth, you can reach the highest truth. But ignoring the material world, the truth which we are to observe, for giving up that and thinking of the ultimate truth is a simply cheating myself, because I am not careful about the truth which is here, and I'll be established in the eternal truth. That is not possible. So that's why Buddha emphasized, said that your action should be right type of action. Don't kill, don't hurt anyone, don't steal. I physically, mentally, emotionally, intellectually. Intellectual stealing is there. That's why copyright has come. so that no one can steal others' things. No, but yeah, thoughts are thoughts you can take. But you say you have quoted my words. Okay, you cannot do that. People do that in their own name sometimes. So that's why watchfulness, watchfulness, mindfulness, mindfulness, and that builds up the spiritual life. Right livelihood. So one should be aware that what type of livelihood I am to go through. For my survival, I need money, I need sustenance. But a person, honest person will try, who is spiritual person, will pay attention to the right way of living. Avoid any occupation, Buddhist will say, avoid that occupation if you can, that causes harm to others, such as butchering or selling intoxicants like alcohol or drugs. Even I have seen that in our, sometimes in the board, when they want to invest some money, I have seen such sensible people who say, no, 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 this will give a good turn, 10%, 18%. No, it is giving 5%, 3%. Okay, let us go for that. It is abusing the child, or it is taking advantage of the labor, women's labor, and this and that. So avoid that. So there should be awareness. That awareness should be there. That livelihood, I have to earn money, I'll have to live in my life, but try to avoid that type of life which lie on job or business or whatever we do, which has the least touch of what is called this type of stealing attitude, this type of lying attitude, and this type of uh, cheating attitude. So avoid such occupation that causes harm to others and also which disturbs the peace of the mind and guides people into wrong direction. So right speech, also I have missed one point. We spend much time on idle talk or criticizing others unnecessarily. Better to spend the time in the right type of speech. We can listen to the speech of Vivekananda. We can listen to the speech of the sages of the ancient time. Upanishads are all available here. Many great swamis and teachers, spiritual teachers, we can listen to their speeches. So, and not to slander and harsh words are not. So, right action. So, we'll be careful, they are mindful about, if there is no, of course, if there is no other alternative, people are sometimes forced to take certain jobs. But if there is a possibility, the Buddha's instruction would be, if you can avoid it, better. So at least you consciously know that it is not your liking. So livelihood, right type of effort, have self-discipline, right type of effort, self-discipline to attain full control of the mind, to avoid an unwholesome mental state, and thus develop a clear mental state. So right effort. So I must have to apply the effort, which is the takes me to this achieving this goal of life. That means self-discipline. Self-discipline, how to attain full control of my mind. Spiritual life is always subjective. So to objectively, we live in the world, objective world, but living in the objective world, to be mindful, to look inside, to look at the discipline of controlling my mind. Why? To avoid an unwholesome mental state and thus develop a clear mind. So that is the right type of effort. Right type of effort, self-discipline, and to control over the mind, to ultimately develop a clear perspective of mind. Then 7, right mindfulness. Right mindfulness, a straight cut mindfulness. We are talking about every other path needs your mind's attention, but here specifically giving right mindfulness. What is that? Develop awareness. Develop awareness of all kinds of actions that with the body, the speech, and the mind, so that we avoid wrong actions and activities. So here, what I started from the point 1, awareness of the mind, awareness of the mind. Here it has been specifically proclaimed that you develop an awareness of all your actions of the body, what your body is doing, what your mind is thinking, what your thought is going, what your intention, what is cravings are driving you. Be aware, be aware, be aware, be mindful. Huh? And after that, when it is observed, then if you are observe those mind's activities, body's activities, then life will take a right turn, direction, right direction. And then with that right direction, wrong things are avoided. Then what will happen? Now right concentration will come. Right concentration, that means that will lead us to eternal peace. Now I know where to concentrate. Not on the objects, not on the actions, not my emotions, not what I want from outside, not I blame for my peace anyone and everyone. When you understand that, it's a path of negation. Just observe, observe, observe. Mindful, 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 mindful. Come, 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 and observe. Our normal problem is that we observe these things, but we observe for everyone, but not for me. Now, Vedanta gives you this grand idea, and Buddhism, that look at yourself. You are responsible for your own life to attain the state of Buddha, Bodhisattva, or to attain the state of Vedantic term, Brahman or Atman. It is your responsibility. Pay attention to that. Be mindful about that. And work on that so that these will lead us to a state of right concentration. And when all these things mind will eject, knowing that they are not my objective to dwell on it, then what will do? It will concentrate automatically. If all the rubbish is gone, then what will remain? Truth will remain. That is the Sattva. Arja Satya, that Satya, that everything is, all these are changing and saying, but what is that? I cannot say. That's why Buddha didn't say about that. He didn't say it is there. He didn't say it is not there. But only the understanding, when all these will go away, then truth will reveal itself. Atma Deepo Bhava. Buddha's last advice to Ananda. When Buddha was passing away, and Ananda was sitting nearby, and he found, and he was weeping. Then Buddha's last message, Buddha, this is not the time to, Buddha said, it is not the time to cry and weep, but be a lamp unto you. Atma Deepo Bhava. You be the lamp unto yourself. So that is the purpose. And that practice should be done whole life, all through. And by only through mindfulness, by ultimate absolute care and attention to watching my actions, my own thoughts, my own inclinations, my own subtle activity of my emotions, how it is deluding me, to be aware of that. And then if we are aware of that, mind will not do that. The body will not do that. And then what will remain? Neti, neti, iti. Vedanta will say, if you can eradicate all, not this, not this, not this, ultimately that which is, that will remain. Panchakosha. Vedanta says, if the 5 coverings are there over the Atman, if you peel off the coverings, then what will remain? When last covering is gone, the light within, that will be shining. It is there, it was there, it will be there, but our attention is not there. That's why we are only looking to the outside objective universe, therefore come out of that. So right concentration, and that will happen. So now this question again will come, that we have to attain to that state of nirvana. That is, Swamiji also said, Buddha is a state. It is not a man. Buddha is not a man, but Buddha is a state where one will have to reach that state. We all can be Buddhas. And that is the claim of Buddha. And that's the claim of the Upanishads also. You are that, and you will be that. So it is, possibility is there, path is there, only we have to be mindful. That's why spiritual life, the mindfulness and spiritual life, they go parallelly. Spiritual life means to be aware of the actions and activities, thoughts, and all our inclinations, and redirect it towards that one thing which is the goal and which is the ultimate peace. So spiritual life, mostly we miss the spiritual life, we become religious. That's why nowadays is a common term that I am not religious, but I am spiritual. Religious means rituals, forms, doctrines, dogmas, and my way, my religion is higher than your religion. That is good for in the world we fight with sword and weapon. This is a fight with intellectual fight. That does not give peace, but only peace can come when we explore the path and watch, be mindful about it and careful about our every movement, and then ultimately find a point to concentrate. Where is the concentration? Final concentration is that following the path, that every day our understanding of the 4 noble truths, right type of thinking, developing noble qualities of life, and don't cause harm to others. This is right thinking, right type of speech, abstaining from lying, idle talk, or slander and harsh words, right actions, abstaining from killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, right livelihood, avoiding the occupation or other things which actually involves me with harming people or destroying their peace, and right effort, have self-discipline to attain full control of the mind and to avoid an unwholesome mental state, and thus develop a clear mental state. And right mindfulness, develop the awareness, and awareness of all actions, what body is doing, what my speech is talking, what my mind is moving, to avoid wrong actions, wrong thinkings. And lastly, the 8th point, right concentration, that will come, and that is the attained mental peace and wisdom to realize full significance of the noble truths. What is the significance of noble truth? It is not only negative, but it is that experience which will bring ultimate purity and peace and tranquility. What is the result of that? The world will get the benefit of it. Those people who are mindful like that and develop their spiritual life, they themselves are in peace, and they radiate peace. Anyone comes around them, surrounding them, they find the touch of peace and harmony, peace and joy and blessings. So that is in nutshell, the mindfulness and spiritual life. Patanjali Yoga, if we go to that, you'll find that they're talking about the same thing. How to reach that point of perfect bliss and peace. That's their different name they are giving, Nirvikalpa Samadhi or anyhow. We need not have to get disturbed by the language of the scriptures. They're saying the same thing. Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha, Saucha, Santosh, Saucha, Santosh, Tapa, Shraddhaya, Ishvara Pranidhana. If we put all these characteristics, it is the same type, same ideas are given, only to focus more on our own actions and thoughts and be mindful about our every. So I think how much we talked? Almost 1 hour.
Would you like a question, Maharaj?
Yeah, that will be good if you.
Okay, I've got one question for you. This whole 15 months has been a real strain. And what I'm hearing is that people are mindful that they suffer from a low-grade depression and anxiety. And as a sadhu of many, many years, can you speak to a person who comes to you with this? What, Swami, can we do when we're out shopping and we feel that coming on? Is there some advice that we can do positively to alleviate that anxiety and depression, even for 5 minutes?
Yeah, it is very difficult. That is a test of life. Yes, we are sometimes we talk about noble truths. How many times I talked in my life of 79 years, or thought, but it sometimes becomes a newspaper reading. I read in the newspaper, today somebody died or somebody did or somebody did. But when it comes to me, then it is something different. Then it is very serious. Then I cannot handle it. That means I understand it, the severity of the situation. So out of this, what can we do? We'll have to do how to stop this depression. There is no magical solution. Only solution I would say, take all the precautions, measures which can make us anxiety free, taking physical precautions, whatever necessary, mask, etc., or other things. But this cannot be saved unless and until we know the life and death. These are all consequences. Every moment we are dying. Every second we are not the old person anymore. So we don't cry because something has happened in my 10 years boyhood body is not today's body. So similarly, we are in the constant changes we are going through physically, and it is an inevitable fact. Let us go to Buddha. Buddha said that to bring some what we call mustard seeds. So this is going on from time immemorial. And that is the problem. It is a truth. That's why it is a noble truth. We'll have to face it. And how to be bold to face it. How to face it? Whatever maybe the means, medical means, and inspirational, idealistic talk also can help us. And I do not know exactly I'm answering to your specific question or wrong. The question was that if someone is in depression, what was the question at the end?
I mean, what technique could you give us when we're out in the world and we feel that depression and anxiety within us? 5 minutes of just getting us back to normal.
Oh, yeah. Some people say, I have heard that you breathe in and then think, oh, what is this? Is it happening only one time or it is happening all the time? I didn't pay attention before. Now I'm paying attention. This will also pass. Let us be bold. Let us face the situation. Let us do what we can do. But there is no effect, just feeling depressed or disheartened. There is no solution of it. So what can we do? We can, as I said, some people say breathe in, breathe out, and pause a moment and mindful. Our topic today is mindful. So to be little mindful, is it happening only today in the history of time? Or it is happening every day? for some person here or there or there or there. Now it is a pandemic. So we hear so many together. That's why it has become intensified. But this situation is going on every day. So if we think this way, intensity may be reduced a little bit. And to practice, if one have practiced this before, then it will be much easier to remember this and to get back to our normal state. Because ultimately, look at that. Ultimately, the gravest suffering or situation, after 1 year, 2 year, people forget. That means human beings have the potential capacity to forget that, to go over it. But he is a spiritual person, she is a spiritual person who can really handle it when the situation is forcing us. And at that point, we can remember, yes, I have crossed this type of suffering before many times. And this also is an obstacle, I will overcome it. I think the positive thinking can help.
Maharaj, there's another question. Someone asked, sometimes we have to lie to protect ourselves in business. Do we always have to speak the truth?
True. Whether I cannot say tell a lie, but in our scriptures also it is said, you can lie when your life is endangered. There is one way of saying that. But it is as best as we can, we have to hold on to truth to reach. But you need not have to tell lie. You can be silent. You can respond in a different way so that you are really not telling yes or no. These are intelligent way of escaping the situation. But attention should be there. What is the truth? And it is said someone gives the example in our scripture that you are a holy person. You see that one person is running and he's trying to take some shelter somewhere, and he went into this direction, the north. And a person you find that be running, chasing behind, after 2, 3, 4 minutes or 5 minutes he came. Did you find one man running this way, with this shirt like this, dress like this? Will you say, yes, I saw go this way, the way the man tried to escape his life? You say, no, he went to the south. If you say that, you will tell a lie, but you will save a life. So this is very extreme conditions. But in our day-to-day life, we should have to try as best as we can to tell the truth, and also to avoid not responding to every question. We need not have to respond. In many places, you need not have to respond. But we think I am responsible to say, I will have to say truth. No. If you are not compelled to do that, and that you need not have to do that, you can avoid that in an intelligent way.
I don't see any other questions coming through. Would you like to end with a guided meditation?
So how many minutes now?
You can stop when you want to stop.
Okay. Okay, then next is after guided meditation is your worship, no? What is
we do the arati and then we do the flower offering.
Flower offering, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, acha. Let me see. Can mindfulness be practiced alongside mantra japa? Can we practice every day to gradually become spiritually enlightened? 2 questions have come in another place.
Okay.
So we can discuss that 2 minutes. One is that can meditation be practiced alongside the mantra japa? Mindfulness can be. Yes, mindfulness can be used. I am mindful about my actions and this, and then I am diverting my mind to that truth itself, which is the mantra indicating the truth. Yes, it can go simultaneously. But when mindfulness is the first part, to reject all these unwanted thoughts and ideas and actions, and then to focus, concentration, that is the part that will be helpful. Yes, those can be practiced one after another. Another question is that what can we practice every day to gradually become spiritually enlightened. Yes, Guru has given us the mantra for us, unless you are a Buddhist, so you will have to follow the Buddhistic path. But it ultimately, for me, I don't find any difference in the practice of Buddhism or in Vedanta. We reject one side and we say focus here, and one person say go on rejecting. That's also Vedanta. Neti, 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 neti. Go on rejecting everything, whatever comes, and then stop where no more to be rejected. So that's also the same way. But I think yes, it can be done every day. Our Guru mantra, our practice, and spirituality. To make it spiritual, we should be careful that we should employ our time mostly whole day. Spiritual life should be whole day spiritual life. Normally, we restrict our spiritual life in the morning time meditation, evening time meditation, or when we are in the shrine room. But this practice can be maintained whole day, a watchfulness of the mind, our actions, thoughts, etc., or being focused on negative way, positive way. Vedanta will say, focus on your Ishta Devata. Ah, Rama, your Krishna, your Ramakrishna is in you and in everyone. Focus on that. Naturally, you reject all these other thoughts. So either way, we can practice and get the benefit of it. Okay, thank you. So now we'll try to focus for some time. Okay. So if we sit straight with back and neck straight and with our eyes closed, and we can just inhale softly and counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and exhaling the same way 1, 2, 3, 4 to 10. And we can think that we are inhaling the holiness, love, joy, compassion, purity, empathy, sympathy, all these noble traits we are inhaling in, and it is filling our inner personality from head to toe. And when we are exhaling, we can send the thoughts of love and well being for all, starting from our own home to the neighboring people and extending to the county, to the state, to whole US and beyond. Let there be peace in all, let there be happiness, let there be no fear, no anxiety from the hearts of people suffering through COVID and others troubles. So we can do this 5 times. Now we can chant the mantra Om, and as the vibration moves around, the objects coming, we can feel that those objects are imaginary objects arising out of ignorance. And the Om mantra and the vibration is transforming all the visible objects, ideas and thoughts, even all transforming into one absolute light and consciousness. We can chant Om 10 times and we feel that the thought currents of love and blessings going on, and that positive energy is transforming everything of name and form, and everything is melting into that oneness, and that oneness is everywhere, east, west, north, south, in all directions, and forgetting our identity gradually into that state of awareness. So we'll chant 10 times Om. Now feel this infinite expanse of awareness that you are just in it, almost getting absorbed into that infinite light and consciousness and bliss, all pervaded reality, which has no beginning, which has no end, which has no east to no north, west, every direction, everywhere it is that, and feel that silence, feel that oneness, feel that bliss. Let us feel that for a few minutes, and I will end with saying Om. That's all. Om, that is only the reality. That is the only truth. That is the state we want to reach. Oh Lord, help us to reach that state.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Act of full.
We will now have the RIT. The recording has stopped.
Act of full in and out. Act of full in and out. Have that full in and out. এটা হ্যাঁ আর দরকার নেই। End.
Mm.